everybody, welcome back into the studio. I'm so excited to be joining you today to make another fun round of projects for drop-in art. This month we're going to do an ornament party, and I would like to thank PCCA and all of the participating partners again for keeping us rolling this year. It's been so much fun. So I am going to go ahead and switch to my top-down screen so you can work along with me. And Missy will be fielding anything in the chat box if you need anything. So just go ahead and type in there if you have any questions, and we'll try to answer things as we go along. Here are my hands. All right. So for our first project, we are going to start with our bottle cap snowman. You may want to have a little piece of paper to paint on. And we're going to start with that because we're going to do some painting first, and we'll want these to dry. So you can go ahead and get your bottle caps out. You'll need 3 for your project. They should be in your bag of supplies for this project. And I am going to go ahead and get some paint on my palette here. And if you don't have white paint and a paintbrush, you could work on the inside of your cap. Or if you would like to, we can paint on the outside, and we're going to give it a nice coat of white paint, painting all over the surface, kind of covering it in our snow, much like all of our yards were covered this week in snow. I hope everybody enjoyed their fun snow day. Why don't you give a high five or a thumbs up in the chat box if you went out and played in the snow? Did you build any igloos? There was certainly enough to make a tunnel out there. We had a lot of fun. So we're just going to go ahead and paint all over our bottle caps, and then we will let those dry as we move on to another project. And we'll come back and work on those after they're all dried up. So I like to have a cup of water handy to rinse my brush off. And I also use a lot of baby wipes in the studio because I tend to get messy fingers. And that's a really easy way to clean your hands up. Or old rags, old towels work really well for that too. So just continuing to get a nice coat of paint. And this is a really fun project. You could do with any kind of cap, really, any kind of circle, or you could make your own circles out of cardstock or white construction paper if you wanted to do this another time and you didn't have caps. Or you could use larger caps like milk jug caps and paint those a fun color. Or maybe you could even find something that already came in white and then skip this step. So there's lots of options to redo these projects, and that's kind of something you could keep in mind, that you can always think outside of the box and be creative with them. Okay, so now that we've got these painted in white, we're going to go ahead and set this aside. I'm going to wipe my fingers off, and then we will start on another project while we let those set up, okay? I'm going to rinse my brush and wipe my fingers off, wipe my brush off so I don't get too messy. Get my baby wipe. I also, another top tip, I like to keep a little bowl by the side of my table so that I can put any garbage in as I work, and then I don't have to continuously get up out of my spot to go to the garbage can, and I don't have a bunch of just random bits floating around. Okay, so next, let's go ahead and get started on our ornament. The little cardstock ornament. So you should have a bag with all of your cards cut up. And you should have a variety of pieces in different cardstocks and also a recycled Christmas card. So this is a fun thing that you can do after the holidays. Once you've enjoyed all of the greetings from your friends and family, you can repurpose those cards into a lovely little ornament. So here's an example that I made the other day to practice. And we are just going to take a selection. You can do some in similar patterns and then alternate it like I did with this one. So I used this kind of like swirl lines and then this beautiful kind of floral pattern and then a gingham. Or you can do all different patterns. You should have about 6 cards in your set, so you can choose what you'd like to do. And then you'll need your cap, or if you don't have a cap, anything that you can trace as a circle. So maybe like a juice cup or a little spool, the inside of a spool of ribbon, anything that's going to work for you to help you make a circle. Or if you're really good at freehanding circles, then kudos to you, because I don't think I could do that freehand, but you go ahead and draw some circles. The only thing that we want to make sure is that they're all about the same size so that when we stick them together, they line up, okay? So go ahead and trace your circles. We need to make 6 circles for this project. You should be able to get about 2 per card. So I'm going to go ahead and just trace them on my card. And I'm using one of these lovely scented pencils. Did you ever get those at school? They smell really good. Mine smells like pumpkin spice. I love it. My kids brought that home for me from school, from the school store. All right, so then we are going to need to cut all of our circles out. So what I like to do to cut the circle is to go ahead and make my page nice and small. So I have a little bit less area that I need to maneuver my scissors through. And that makes it easier to turn your page and cut those circles. You don't have to be like perfect. It's okay. It's handmade. So here I'm going to use my garbage bowl and just put stuff in it as I work to keep my space tidy. And I have 2 of the holly berries. And then I have, let's see, what did I choose for this one? It's good if you trace on the reverse because that way you won't see the pencil lines when we're done. And this one has little reindeer. I don't know if you can see the little reindeers on there. Two of those, and then what's the last one that I chose? Oh, a pretty gold dot. That's nice. Can you see that shimmering? Maybe you have some card in your package that's nice and shimmery. Very holiday, in my opinion. Everything should be covered in glitter for the holidays. Makes it fun. All right, so once we get all of our circles cut out, we need to fold them in half. So lay them with the print side up, and we're going to just take one side of our circle and make it touch the other side, and then use your fingers to make a nice firm crease. And we're going to do that with all 6 of our circles so that we have a center line. And that center line is where we're going to put our cord to make the ornament. Now, if you want to, you could also do more than one of these. You could do, 2 and make a double, like an ornament with 2 baubles on it. And that could be really fun. Or if you have a whole bunch of ribbon and a whole bunch of cards or cardstock to use up, you could make a whole big long garland and hang it across your mantle or over a door, or decorate your Christmas tree, because Christmas trees need lots of fun decorations. Okay, so now I'm going to get organized a little bit. I'm going to put my similar prints together. If you don't have similar prints, you don't need to worry about that. And then we are going to start gluing. So we want to take one circle, and we're just going to put glue on the one side of it. So just that half of the circle. You can use school glue, or I have a nice little glue stick that's less messy here. So we need that one, and then we're going to choose a different printed, different pattern paper, and we're going to line up just the half together and press those together really nice. So you can see I have the holly, and then I have the dot, and they meet in this middle section, and we're going to keep doing that. So now I'm going to choose my next, choose the reindeer print. I'm going to go ahead and add glue onto this half of the circle, and then I'm going to put my reindeer half on there and press them together nice, get good sticky. Okay, so now I'm ready to move to the holly, since I'm alternating prints. But again, you can do it any way you want. You be creative. This is your project. There's no wrong way to make the ornament. That's part of your expression. You choose which way you want to do it. Okay, so we have the holly. Now I need to look for the gold dot. That's that one. And we are going to add glue onto that side. Oh, stuck to my glue stick. My glue stick was so sticky. It flew across the room. Okay. So now we're going to stick the gold on there, and we're almost done. So we're just layering it, pressing as we go. Last layer, and then before we do the final circle, we have to add our ribbon into the center. So let's get this last reindeer stuck on here. Okay, so now let's take a look at where we're at. So we have the holly, gold dot. Remember, I alternated mine, but you don't have to do yours this way. But we stuck all 6 together so that it flips, kind of like the pages of a book. Okay, so you work your way through. And now we have these last 2 that we need to join together. But in here, in the center, where all of the pieces meet, we're going to put our ribbon. So get a cut of ribbon. You should have that in your kit. And I'm going to tie a little knot at the bottom. So you can ask your adult helper to help you tie if you're not good at that. And that's okay. Or you can skip this step. It'll be fine too. That just kind of keeps it from slipping down off of the bottom. So then I'm going to split this in half here. Add a stripe of glue right down the center where I can stick my ribbon. And I'm going to glue my ribbon to the inside. And now we're going to stick these last 2 pieces together, trapping our ribbon in the center. And that is what's going to make our ornament. Okay. We have those, and then we're just going to close it up and stick it together. Press it all together. And there we have our little ornament. Oh, look at how cute that is. Okay, very nice. And then we can tie, you can get your adult helper to help you tie a loop at the top. So I just fold the ribbon over and then kind of wrap it around my finger and pull that through to make a little loop where I can hang it up. And if you were going to make a garland, you could skip that step and just make a big long chain of all of your baubles. Okay, so there's that one. Would you like to work through it again? Maybe you're not quite as fast as I am. We could do another little layer here quick. I'll work and you work on yours. So again, I'm just going to trace my circles. I need 6 per ornament.
We have someone saying they're still tracing and cutting away, so they're still working alongside of you here.
Excellent.
I wanted to make a note that a lot of our drop-in art projects are usually made with recycled materials. And I think this is a really great example. You could use old Christmas cards, any kind of paper from the holidays that you want to use for your project. I was even thinking maybe wrapping paper. I don't know if it's a little too thin.
Yeah, wrapping paper might be a little thin just because we kind of need that thickness of the card that kind of helps it hold its shape. But if you had just white cardstock and not like colorful cardstock like we have here, or you didn't have leftover Christmas cards, you could maybe layer your wrapping paper on top of just plain card, and then that would give it the weight that it needed.
Nice. I'm thinking about all those little bits you end up with at the end of the holidays.
Yeah, and some of that wrapping paper is just like too pretty. I have trouble not keeping it. Yeah. Not keeping even the little bits of it, you know, because I'm just like, oh, it's so pretty.
And this is a great way of reusing those cool patterns. So
yeah,
Janice.
And I love that's something that I really love that we do at Drop-In is, you know, doing a lot of recycled things, using up stuff that we have around our house that we used once, and then doing something else with it, because I think that you know, shows you that you don't have to spend a ton of money to make some really pretty things to decorate your house and to have fun with and be expressive. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You know, and it's great to live lightly on the earth and do lots of fun things to give those things a second chance. Okay, so I've cut out some more circles, so we can just go back through that again really quick if you are still working on this project. But remember, we are recording this. So if we've gone through something a little too quickly just because we only have a certain amount of time to work through our projects today, you can go back and rewatch with us, or you know, pull it up and rewind and go back through it again if you need some additional time to work. And also, all of the instructions are included on the printout that Missy has linked, so you can go ahead and read along with those too. So that can be another option if you want to do it another time and you can't have your screen up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold my circles again in half. You want the print pretty side up. So whatever you've decided is the pretty side, that's what you want to be sandwiched in the center there, okay? So that it opens like this. All right, so we've got all of those printed pretty papers ready to go. And I am going to add this one. We'll make that double layered bauble. So I have this one that I had made before, and I'm going to put my second one up here at the top so that we can see what it looks like if you made 2. Because you should have enough card that we provided in the kit for you to make 2 if you would like. And then you could make an endless supply of these, really, if you had pretty paper that you wanted to use, or like Missy said, you could use up some pretty wrapping paper on top of like a thicker piece of cardstock, you know, and greeting cards. work wonderfully for this, and they're always so beautiful that it's a shame to just only look at them for a few weeks, right? So we want to get some more use out of those. Okay, so I've gone poinsettia, gingham, and then this kind of looks like icing print. So now I'm going to go back to poinsettia and glue those half circles together. Just layer them, and press them down so that you get good adhesion with your glue. Okay. Now I've got all 6 just about stuck together. Oh, this one is kind of not. And if you get any that don't really line up that well, you could try sliding them around. Or this one's just like a little slightly bigger. So I'm just going to go in with my scissors and kind of trim that extra bit up so you don't see all of that extra white hanging off the end there. Just give it a trim, give it a haircut. Okay. All right, so now that we've got all 6 of those stuck together, this time I'm going to use this same card, and I am going to open it back up, add the glue, and I'm going to stick that ribbon in there like we did last time. Yep. Get quite enough glue. A little bit more. Okay, and then put glue on the one side of your circle, your little half circle, and trap your ribbon inside. All right, and there is what it would look like if we had more than one on a thing, on a little bobble there. Oh, that's fun. Little fun layer ornament. Can you imagine if you made a whole big long garland? That would be very pretty. So that's something you could work on with your leftover cards for next year maybe. And then your tree could be very beautiful with all of these little handmade garland. Okay, so that's that project, and we're going to go ahead and move on. Don't worry if you need to continue working, maybe just come to a good stopping point with that project, and you can work on it, like I said, a little bit later. You can come back and watch more of the video if you need to, but just for time's sake today, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next project. So I've set those aside. And now if you want to get out your dollar horse kit, we will start with that project. So I like to keep, when I'm working on things, another pro tip here, I like to put things in little trays. So I have all of my things together and I just have one spot to go and look for stuff. Kind of helps keep me organized. So let me get a little bit of room here. So again, we are going to need our kit, and you should have the little dollar horse template that's included. Dollar horses actually are a little symbol of Sweden, the country of Sweden, and they have made the dollar horse popular. Horses were very important to people, and then they became a little symbol of good luck and prosperity, which is great for the new year. So we're going to take our template and cut it out along the line. You might want to ask your adult helper to help you with this, so that we have a little template that we can trace onto our piece of fun foam. So dollar horses are really colorful, and they're painted with lots of fun designs. They kind of look like Christmas cookies, except they're usually made out of wood. but today we're going to make ours out of fun foam. And instead of painting, we're going to stick a bunch of fun foam together because that's really fun. So you should have an assortment of different foams in your kit and then some sprinkly bits. So the sprinkly bits are all kinds of little shapes that you can do, stick together to make different patterns on your doll horse. So once you have your template cut out, we're going to get our largest piece of foam. Okay, and mine, this one is brown. So mine is going to look like a little gingerbread horse. And then we want to trace the template onto our foam. And if your foam was a little curled up from being in the bag, you could just stick it under a heavy book or a little tray to flatten it out then. And I also kind of bent mine backwards to kind of help take the fold out. Because we just had to stick stuff in those baggies to get them out to you. Okay, so once you have it traced, and if you didn't want to cut that out, you could probably use your pencil and press down just on the line and maybe be able to see that on your fun foam. But I would suggest cutting it out and then tracing around it with a pencil. Okay, so now we're going to cut our little horse out. And if you didn't have your favorite color in your bag, you could use cardboard, cardstock, construction paper as your base. If you wanted to make more, you could do that. This could be really, really fun if you wanted to make cards and stick those on top. But today we're making an ornament, and I like the foam for the ornament because again, it's going to hold like a really nice shape on the tree, but cardstock would probably do that just fine too. Okay, so get your little horse cut out. There's our little horsey. And now is the really fun part because we get to just decorate it. So you should have an assortment of different colored fun foam bits in your kit. And I have, let's see, sparkly, just some plain white, green, little burgundy, and I only saved myself one little sprinkly bit, one little star, but you probably have several, so you can use those. And then what we want to do is the main areas that we're going to focus on decorating our little doll horse is the saddle area and the bridle area, so that comes up from the bridge of the nose and connects down to the saddle. And then they usually had like a design in their hair and maybe on their like hind area. Okay, so we are going to choose something to make the saddle. And you can cut out any shape you like, but usually saddles are kind of like a little half circle. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to cut off this piece and then I'm going to line it up here. I'm going to cut that a little bit straighter so it lines up with the back. And then I'm going to go ahead and just cut the corners off of there to give it that rounded saddle look. See how I got the little saddle? It's just kind of a half circle. Doesn't have to be overly complicated. And if you have a piece that has a sticker back, even easier. So you can peel that off and just apply it like a sticker to your horse's back. Some of the fun foam does not have sticker on it. So again, you'll want to use your glue stick or craft glue, okay? But it's just cutting and pasting. Really fun. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the bridle. So that piece I need to make kind of a swoop that will come down. I'm going to see about maybe, let's see, maybe using this piece. Oh yeah, that will work nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a little curve in that. I just kind of measure by lining it up, and then you can make a little mark with your pencil so you know where you want to cut it, and just kind of eyeball where it would line up there. And then I'm just going to trim. Mine had a little bit of pen on it from another project. I'm just going to trim that off, just right along the edge, neaten it up. And then go ahead, and that bit I'm going to have to glue down. That piece did not have a sticker back. So I first have to get my glue operational here. Okay. It's too sticky. All right, so we're going to put a nice coat of glue on the back here. You don't want your glue to be too thick, just a little thin layer that covers the space is plenty. Doesn't need to ooze out the side, okay? And then I'm going to add that in there. And I think I would like to make a little piece that comes down from the top to, that would kind of like wrap around the horse's mouth. So I'm going to get another piece in the same color and do that. So I'm going to hold it up again where I want it. Just kind of make myself a little line. And then that's where I will cut. And I'm just going to kind of neaten that up too. If you want more inspiration, I would encourage you to go look up Dala horses. And you can see how beautifully they're decorated with all kinds of flowers and kind of snowflake designs and all kinds of things. They're really, really pretty. So we're trying to work on that today. So there I have my bridle. And let's see, what else should we do? Maybe, oh, I think now, while we let that set up a second, I am going to use my sprinkly bit. I feel like my horse needs a very pretty something right there on its chest. So this is just the part now that is completely up to you. You can decorate any way you want. So I have the little star there, and now let's decorate the saddle and the bridle a little bit. So if you have just your sprinkly sticker bits, you can go ahead and use those, or I am going to sort of use this and try to replicate that a little bit. So I'm going to make like my own flower star shape just by drawing a few overlapping little ovals that I can then use to cut out. So I just kind of, will it focus? I just kind of drew a few lines that I can use as a reference and then just cut that out. So I have a little, kind of looks like an asterisk, I guess, this one, or a snowflake. So I'm going to cut that out. And if you had other stickers you wanted to use, you could do that too. And I'm going to put this one back here on my saddle. And I feel like it needs some more because it's not fancy enough. So let's see, what else can we do? Maybe I'll just make a pretty little scalloped piece to go up along here. So I'm going to cut a strip off of my glitter, and I'm just going to cut little kind of half circles, little scallops that don't go the whole way to the edge. Maybe you want your adult helper to help you out cutting something like this, or it doesn't have to be this fancy. You know, it's okay to just cut out whatever kind of strips you want and decorate it the way you like. So I'm going to, again, I'm like feeling really lucky that this has a nice sticker back and I don't have to glue. So here's my scallop. And then I'm going to put that here on my horses, kind of connecting the bridle and the saddle there. I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I might move it. Pick it up. Oh yeah, I like that better. Pretty. Okay. So we need one more thing, I think, for over here. I'm gonna decorate that. I think maybe this time I'll just make like, what should we make? Just a little circle. I could just end the bridle there. Okay, very pretty. There's my little dollar horse. And you can go on, if you're having fun with this, you can continue adding layers and layers of sticky fun in your fun foam, or you can stop anytime that you haven't had enough. And then we're just, to make it into the ornament, we just need to get a piece of ribbon, which you should have in your kit, and we will want to fold that over. And we are going to flip our horse onto the not decorated side and use our craft glue to stick our ribbon in place. So you'll want to make sure you leave time for this to dry. It takes a little while for glue to dry on fun foam. So we want our loop to come, let me turn it around here. So we want our loop to come up off of the horse's back. So that we can hang it up on our tree. Or if you wanted to make these and stick them onto cards, that would be very pretty too, in my opinion. Then you could skip the ribbon step, or you could make it into an ornament card and send it to someone, and then they could have a really pretty ornament to hang up. So here's another little tip I like to do, is having some clothespins that can help hold things when you can't sit there and hold it with your fingers. And then that will give our ribbon time to dry to the glue, and we don't have to worry about it pulling up. The clothespin will hold it in place instead of us sitting there and holding it with our fingers for a really long time, because that's too boring. Nobody can do that. Okay, so we're gonna set that guy aside, and we're gonna come back and finish our little snowman ornament. Okay, and I think Missy put more information about the dollar horses in the chat box. So if you want to go check that out, get some more inspiration, learn a little bit more about that symbol. It's really fun to learn new things. We're going to be lifelong learners. Okay, so now we should come back to our little caps, and hopefully they're dry to the touch. Mine are pretty good. Okay, and if they're not, you can just wait and come back a little bit later. And what we need now is we're going to, let me get my little tray here of snowman supplies. So we are going to add all of the details to our snowman. So you'll need to choose one of your caps to be the face of the snowman. And what does the snowman have on his face? Why, of course, he has a carrot nose. So you'll want to take an orange marker or paint. Oh no. Uh-oh. I peeled some of the paint up. Well, no bother. We'll just paint that over. Got to roll with those. Ta-da. Gotta roll with those little mishaps when you're an artist. Stuff happens. Okay, so we'll try on this piece. All right, so we'll put a little carrot nose. So that just can be like a line, a very skinny little triangle. Okay, so there's my little carrot nose. A little hard to see. Let's come up. Nothing special, just a little line. Okay, and then we're going to put the eyes on. Uh-oh, it doesn't like my markers today. There we go. Oh, so many technical difficulties. Here we go. It's not liking my markers. Hold on a second. Sometimes this happens and you just have to adapt. Let's try a thicker marker. Alrighty, here we go. It likes this marker better. You could also use paint, or maybe it needed a little bit more time to dry, but we're kind of in a time crunch today. So you could paint yours in the morning or in the evening and let them dry overnight. And then we're going to add a few little circles for a button mouth. Did you make a snowman this week in all the snow? We didn't. It wasn't really good packing snow, was it? It was a lot, but it wasn't good for packing. So now we have this cute little face. Oh my gosh, it's getting adorable. Okay, and then we are going to just take your second button, whatever other button cap you have, and we're going to make a few buttons up its front. So we're getting that very traditional little frosty look. And then what we have to do is stack them like you would stack a snowman. Okay, so we're going to put our head at the top, our little button chest, and then the bottom of our snowman like that. And now we are going to glue those pieces together. So if you have an adult helper who has hot glue, this will go a lot faster and you can use that, or you can use craft glue. And we just need to put that on our caps where we want to connect them. So you just need a little spot at the top and the bottom, and then you're going to stick those two together. And the same thing with the head area. Okay. And again, I would suggest that it's probably good to, if you're using craft glue, maybe clip those together and let them dry. So I would maybe put them together. Oh no, this head came off. Put them together upside down, and then you could use a clip to hold it in place while it dried, or just let it dry like that. But just for the purposes of our stream today, I'm going to go ahead and work with it, kind of not completely stuck. Okay, and then to finish off our little snowman, we are going to take our ribbon, and you can use any ribbon you have, but you would have a piece of ribbon in your kit. And we are going to put that underneath of his neck and then fold it over. And glue that together so it's like a little scarf for our snowman. And again, I would use maybe a little clip, but that seems to be sticking pretty good. And then you could add a little button decoration if you, oh no, glue opened. I didn't put enough glue on there. Okay, let's try that again. See, getting your fingers to do the work here, sometimes tricky. Okay. So we have this little scarf, and I think it looks cute if you don't necessarily line up the ends perfectly, because when you tie a scarf, they never line up perfectly. So it's just more authentic that way. And then you want to put a dot of glue on your button, and you can add a little button to your snowman too. And there you have your little snowman ornament. Oh, it's adorable. I'm going to leave mine on the paper to dry. And another thing I think that we could do that might help it is if we put a little bit, oh my goodness. All right. definitely think you needed hot glue for this, or to give it time to dry. So maybe you need to work on this one in a couple of different layers. Okay, and then to add the part that will make it the ornament too, we need to add our loop of ribbon. So I'm going to get a little cut piece of that. And just add it to the back of your cap. And then let that dry.
These are looking really cute. I can't wait to do them at home with my kids. We have a lot of bottle caps that we collect for different projects, so I'm excited to make these at home. Just a heads up, we are approaching 11, so we may have another round of students joining us. Just wanted to pop in and share that.
All righty. So here is our little finished guy. Be sure to let it have time to dry, or if you have hot glue, all the better, because then it will stick together a little bit quicker. So there's that little guy. All right, well, thank you to everybody for joining us for round one. And again, you can check back in for the recorded version of this if you want to work back through some of the projects. And also we do 3 different drop-in videos a month right now. And if you haven't already watched those, you can go back through the PCCA YouTube channel and check those out and continue crafting along with us at your leisure and in the future as we plan to do more projects. But thanks everybody. It was super fun.
Thank you for coming, everyone. We'll see you next time.